that.
Who approached you? Because from what I understood, someone approached you and said, we want to sign you. Like, they didn't believe that Joshua was doing it. Did I understand it correctly?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
You don't want to get into it?
I haven't had anyone to sign me to do what? Sign me for, you said you had...
No, but what was that tweet after the fight?
Oh, the tweet, I mean, it was just, Eddie Hearn coming to us after everything's over with my fight and stuff like that, and talking about offering a deal, and my thing was, we're busy, you know what I'm saying, and for me, it's easy to see what was going on. Boxing is solely a business, it's not a sport. It's not. For me, the sport is a masking agent to what the real fuck shit goes on. It's strictly a business.
Everything's a business, and every step.
Business. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep. I see it every day. Every day. Man. I'm shocked how much of a business it is.
Man, it's strictly business. I don't even have to go in. I got a lot of stories.
Of course.
And shit like that. Well, a lot of briefcases been closed and certain things. And, that's why most trainers go with their fighters to different places. They don't want people to steal them.
That's true.
And stuff like that. You know what I mean? It happens all the time. And but he was trying to contact us for reassurance. You know what I mean? All of a sudden you want to make a fight because even yourself don't have confidence in your own fighter that he was going to win. So for me, he was just trying to make a deal to ensure that he can lock something in. But the thing about it, when he lose, that price goes up. Man, you know what I mean? You ain't gonna get no solid deal locked in.
What did Fat Joe say? Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Not today's price, facts. And that's basically what it was. We're not stupid. You gotta understand when you're in a business, you gotta have a business mindset and think that way. If I didn't have a business mindset and thought how I thought, I would never be in the position that I'm in. You understand what I'm saying?
Of course.
I don't have to do this ever again. And I can...
What's good, family? It's your man the YB back once again. Big shout out to your man the YB, #1 sugar mama in the game right now. Lizzie Curran coming through and boosted up the coin, no doubt about it. So we just heard there from your mans Deontay, the twerkinator, Wilder, airing out and exposing Eddie down bad Hearn. And I got this vibe. I got more videos coming soon. You best believe it. But I've been had this vibe. Yeah, even before. In fact, what was it? Yeah, even after AJ lost to Usyk the first time, yeah, in the post-fight press conference, he said, yeah, I haven't got the belts now, but are you telling me that the AJ versus Wilder without the belts still isn't a big fight? Oh. You know what I mean? He was saying, for that to come out of his mouth, combine that also with the video I leaked a few weeks ago, AJ saying, the man said to him, AJ, now you haven't got the belts, what defines your character? Oh, money. So wait there, Mr. Money defines my character. And Mr. Well, even if I don't get the belts back, the Wilder fight's still big. What does that say about someone? And let's not forget, people, the way we saw him fight in the ring, it wasn't exactly like he was desperate. And now we find out, now Wilder leaks, that Eddie Hearn was all in the video, all in his DMs, begging to make a fight, trying to lock a fight in. Because guess what, people? What do we know? If Eddie Hearn thought AJ was going to win the Usyk fight, Deontay Wilder would play absolutely no part in it. In no universe, yeah, would Wilder versus AJ be the next fight if AJ had a won. Makes no sense, because we know Eddie Hearn and AJ would have been pressing Fury, which really would at least be a 2-fight deal, which sets them back for at least a year. Yeah, so a year. It would make no. There's no way Eddie Hearn would be contacting Wilder to organise a fight after the AJ and Fury trilogy. Never going to happen. So it begs the question: what was Eddie Hearn doing a week before AJ versus you? What was he doing? Blowing up Wilder's DMs. The only way that play made any sense is after AJ loses. After AJ loses against Usyk, yeah, Eddie Hearn knew, damn, what are we going to do? Oh, and that's what the big three come into. Fury's out the picture. Wilder, Dillian White, and maybe Eddie Hearn can sell AJ's booty to someone like Frank Warren. Maybe Frank Warren will pay AJ through the teeth to build up Daniel Dubois or build up Joe Joyce. Kind of sell his scalp. Frank Warren might be able to leverage the BT bag or whatever to say, listen AJ, we'll pay you a quick 20 mil to get knocked out by Dubois, for example. if you get what I mean. Those are the three options. The sell his booty option, the Wilder option, and the Dillian White option. And even then, guess what? Eddie Hearn knows the Dillian White bag. And that's the thing. It shows you how smarmy Eddie Hearn really is. Because guess what? Eddie Hearn could say, oh well, we'll go straight in there with Dillian White. But Eddie Hearn knows, wait a minute, it's no good us going in there with Dillian White first. Because that fight isn't going anywhere. It's best for AJ to now lose again against Wilder before then. Oh, even though we lost to Usyk now and we lost to Wilder, AJ versus Dillian White, UK barn burner. Do you get what I'm saying? That AJ versus White barn burner is always there kind of thing. I don't want to cash that in too early. Because, I mean, imagine if AJ loses to Dillian White. The Wilder fight is dead in the water, innit? It'll most likely, if AJ fought Dillian White and lost, which to be fair, I still think he beats Dillian. Dillian's useless. But still, I mean, there's all cards are off the table, people. We don't know. I mean, Dillian White isn't the stupidest fighter. He will see AJ and know AJ doesn't want to be involved in a fight. If Dillian White's half smart, he'll go in there and press AJ and bop him with something heavy. Let's not forget, AJ looked out of his sorts against a middleweight. Dillian White goes in there and moshes AJ. This isn't the AJ of old who gonna mosh back. He gonna fold. Eddie Hearn knows this. Eddie Hearn trying to be tactical with it. Now, I'm sure there's some AJ fans who say, oh well, YB, wouldn't you want to watch the AJ versus Wilder fight? Yeah, I'd watch it, but it's not the point, is it? The point is, AJ's team have always been way too focused on all the wrong things. I've been saying this for years. I've been saying for years, if AJ focuses on being totally ferocious, the money will come. Imagine if AJ had a knocked out Usyk, which would have happened if I was in control. Yeah? If Emmanuel YB was running camp, AJ would have splattered Usyk all over the ring. How much do you think that's worth? Oops. Instead, he went with Fernando, and look what you got. You went with, but I told everyone. I had people in my comment section, oh, YB, yeah, he's got Robert Garcia. I told you Robert Garcia is shit. So's Fernando. I've been said that. Oh, no, YB, no word of a lie. I had people telling me, oh, no, YB, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to go with this one. Sorry, I don't believe you. Oops. How'd it work out? Yeah? AJ really made marginal changes and still went in there trying to outbox Usyk again. Where it was all the Mexican style you web warriors was talking about. Nowhere to be found. Yeah, Robert Garcia don't know what he's doing. And I told you that. You just don't. Yeah, a lot of these trainers, they get to where they are and they still don't know what they're doing. And that's what we saw tonight. That's what we saw at the weekend. Big facts. And I'm sick to death of AJ's whole shtick. I'm sick to death of AJ's whole team as well. They're so thirsty for coin. They fiend for it. It pisses me off. They got no substance about them. And whatever we say about Wilder, at least he actually loves the game. At least he actually commits to the game for what it's worth. He went in there committed to the game. When was the last time you saw AJ committed to the game? All AJ's committed to is self-preservation. How can I get through this fight without looking bad? AJ will take. AJ loves to lose, yeah. AJ would take. If AJ can lose and not get hit, or if AJ can find a way to lose and not get embarrassed, he'll take that 10 times out of 10. If AJ's given the choice, okay AJ, you've got a chance of winning the fight, but it might cost you getting knocked out. Never going to happen. And that's what we saw against Usyk, people. In them last championship rounds, where it was all on the line, in my opinion, after round 9, the fight was 50-50. In them last 3 championship rounds, and by the way, people, if AJ had won them last 3 rounds, like Usyk did, he'd have won the fight. Oops. Yeah? So in the championship rounds, it's all on the line. What did AJ decide to do? Did he decide to go all in? Or did he decide to roll over and try and look good losing? He chose to roll over and look good losing. He thought, oh, yep, I'm not so sure now. Yep, Usyk isn't going to jump on the floor like all the other old men have fought. And I warned you, man. I warned you, yeah. AJ's the old man slayer. If you're old, which means you've got less cardio, which means you're slow, which means you're finished and half out of your career, AJ will do a job on you. AJ will do a drop on you. But the minute he's in there with someone as fit as him, as young as him, yeah, no good. Yeah? And we saw that. The last 3 rounds, all on the line. What AJ do? Feel sorry for himself and find a way to lose looking good. Same as the first fight. AJ on the ropes. He found a way to lose. Rather than double down and try and commit to winning, he found a way to lose looking good. Same as Dillian White, to be quite frank. Unfortunately, he got chinned. When Dillian White was fighting Fury, he found a way, we thought he was finding a way to lose on points. Innit? Go back and watch that fight. Dillian White was in there for 7 rounds and didn't make a move for 7 rounds. Dillian White was hoping he could get to round 12 and then say, oh, Fury ran. That's what he was hoping, honestly. I guarantee you. If Dillian White had made it to the bell, yeah, he'd have said, oh, Fury was running all night. Yeah, Fury stopped running. Oops, he got chinned. But all these guys, honestly, the sport's damn super bad. And what frustrates me is I don't get it. In any other sport, us fans, yeah, we don't care about people making money. It's not, we're happy for them to make money, yeah? I'm happy for a fair exchange, but I don't understand, like, in the NBA or in any other sport, people actually commit, like, in F1, arguably as dangerous as boxing. Or certainly not far off as dangerous as boxing, yeah? Still, these guys are paid just as much, if not more than boxers. But still, for the most part, or especially at the top level, people get in their cars day in, day out, and they push it to the limits, desperate to win. Yeah? Never quitting. So it can't be just the money. But boxing, I don't know what it is about the sport at the moment. Boxing is full of no substance having money grabbers. It really is. I've never seen anything like it. All other sports, for the most part, I guess to be fair, the way football's going, from what I've heard, I'm not a big football fan yet, but also in football, I've heard recently football's kind of falling apart as well. People are just they're just literally turning up for some money. But boxing, it's more prevalent. In boxing, any division you go in, there's money grabbers. Not trying to do a lot. At least in F1, people race the best day in, day out. In boxing, it's the only sport here where you can not fight the best and still complain about not getting the most money. So what the fuck? It's mad. It's wild. And there's maybe 1 in 100 people like Devin Haney actually trying to fight the best. That's how it used to be. It used to be, yeah, you fight the best and money naturally comes as a function of that. These times, people don't want to fight the best. People don't want to commit. People don't want to go all in. People don't want to show character. And yet they still want a big payday. Look at Dillian White. Dillian White grandstanded for months. Oh, not being paid right. Oh, 500 days. Oh, 6,000 days. And he gets in there. No character, no substance. And he ends up jumping on the floor. Talking about how he hurt his ankle. What the F? After all that talking, he jump on the floor. There's no sport in the world like it right now. There's no sport in the world that's been ruined by money grabbers. And AJ for me is the pinnacle of that. And even Fury now, even at the positive side, even at the winning end, you've got people like Tyson Fury just making the sport all about money. It really is turning me off, you know. Really is turning me off. And that's why I do like the UFC model. Because yeah, at least the UFC model, them guys might have a claim to complain. But for the most part, they crack on and get on with it. And rightfully so. The worst thing that happened to boxing was when the fighters started getting power. I'm sorry, it's the truth. The UFC works. This isn't working right now. It's just not. And really, when you think about it, boxing's the only sport, yeah, where in recent years, the fighters or the athletes have actually gained power. I'm sorry, but I like sport that's controlled by corporations. It keeps these guys in check. NBA players kept in check for the most part. Football players, well, I guess maybe not. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Keep these guys in check. Yeah? End of the day, you're athletes. Go in there and jump. That's what you're paid to do. If you're a basketball player, you're paid to jump. If you're a boxer, you're paid to get punched in the head. And if you don't like it, you can go and take up a bum job like the rest of us do. Do you know what I mean? That's the alternative. All these guys moaning. If you don't like it, quit your job and go and get a bum job with the rest of us. How about that? Oops, guess what? None of them want to get a bum job. And that just goes to show all this woofing about how bad things are. Listen, no one ain't, wait a minute. No one ain't stopping you taking up another job. Oh, YB fighters take so much risk. If that's the case, no problem. Quit boxing and go and get a job at Tesco. And see how fruitful that is for you, innit? That's what I don't get. Oh, YB, boxers need to do this, boxers need to do that. Oh, YB, they've got to feed their family. It's no problem. See how well you feed your family working at Tesco's. Oops. Oh, all of a sudden, yeah, you best believe they be work, innit? All of a sudden, people who complain about the UFC, Tesco's still hiring. Yeah, I'm hearing there's Amazon still hiring. No problem. Oh, yeah, see how quick, yeah? See how many UFC fighters quit their UFC contract to go work at Amazon? None. So cut the cap. I ain't trying to hear it. Unless you're being paid less than you are to work at Amazon, I ain't trying to hear about how bad UFC fighters are being done. They're getting paid rightfully so. Look at Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor. When you bring in Conor McGregor numbers, you get paid Conor McGregor paydays. That system for me works. UFC is actually based on capitalistic values to some extent. You keep what you kill. If you're a bum dude no one knows, like Mighty Mouse, money doesn't, that's the thing. Boxers, I mean, Fury, for example, demanding 500 million. These guys are so deluded. They're so detached from how the real economy works, yeah? They don't understand that money actually comes from somewhere. Money doesn't come from thin air. You can't just put a number out there and think it's going to drop in your lap. Numbers are generated from somewhere. And never before here has a generation been built on. These guys don't sell no pay-per-views for the most part. They don't, do they? These guys don't sell no pay-per-views, but yet they expect big paydays. It's really quite odd. I don't know how we got into this position, but it's killing the sport off for sure. On all ends. It's making fighters lazy. It's making them fight once a year. It's making them have no character. Because if you can get paid 5 mil for knocking a bum job over, that's what you do. And that's why people like Tank Davis. Tank Davis is the Baltimore bum slayer. All he does is fight bums. Making 5 to 10 mil to do so. What can you do here? And even the guys at the top level who are fighting the best, like AJ, they've got so much money, or Dillian White, they don't really care. They turn up, and if they can win easy, they win. If not, they'll lose. But yeah, Wilder exposing Eddie Hearn. I'm so sick of Eddie Hearn. I really am sick of him. I'm glad AJ lost on that basis. But still, I mean, I really do hope AJ gets shut out now. For me, Wilder trying to shut AJ out at the peak of his career was a dumb move. I mean, Deontay Wilder talks about being a big businessman, yeah, but really, Deontay Wilder played himself out of a colossal bag. Eddie Hearn offered him 20 million to fight Dominic Breazeale. Wow. Eddie Hearn offered him 100 million for a 2-fight deal. 120 million for 3 fights was the ultimate DAZN deal. Deontay Wilder should have bitten Eddie Hearn's hand off. With super bad management and super bad... Not to mention the fact that Wilder had the chance to fight for all 3 belts. And for all we know, Wilder would have ended up knocking AJ out. Truth be known, innit? Let's be real now. If Wilder turned up and hit AJ, chances are he'd have been knocked out at some point. Yeah? Because AJ is a sitting duck after 6 rounds. So, Wilder could have been undisputed and then fought Fury anyway. Do you understand? That Fury fight was never going anywhere. Fury was a nobody at that time. Instead, Wilder played himself. Again, to be quite frank, even though Wilder has semi-redeemed himself in the ring, it has to be said, yeah, part of the reason Wilder chose Fury was because he believed Fury was finished. He believed Fury had no power, and he believed Fury was an easy touch. That's why Wilder fought Fury. Wilder's plan, yeah, was to fight Fury, beat him, absorb that clout, and then possibly fight AJ. He played himself, because in doing that, he overexpected himself, and found out he wasn't better than Fury. And now, really, Wilder and AJ are both washed up. They've both got no belts now, and they're both if they fight, they'll be lucky to make 40 million between them. That fight at one point was a $250-300 million fight. In fact, it was a $300 million fight. 120 for Wilder and 180 for AJ probably. Now, between them, they'll be lucky to make 50. Well done. So I'm sorry, you ain't that much of a great businessman. And if I was Wilder, I'd be selling Finkel. I'd be suing Finkel. I don't know what they was doing there. As an advisor, how can you advise someone to take? Let's not forget, at the time, Wilder versus Fury, the guarantees was like Wilder got guaranteed 4 mil. How can you, as a manager, how can you be guaranteed 40 million, 50 million, sorry, for the AJ fight? How can you turn that down? Turn down a $50 million guarantee and take 4 mil. One of the worst, honestly, historically speaking, boxing in the last 100 years, that was the worst play in the history of the game. And yet this man's up here talking about how smart he is. You're dopey. I'm sorry. Anyway, Eddie Hearn exposed. For me, the sooner Eddie Hearn gets out of it, the better for me. I ain't trying to hear no more from Eddie Hearn. He pissed me off. He's smarmy. 100%. Clown, smarmy, have an ass dude.